Good afternoon, everyone. We have an amazing panel here, and the topic is all the more amazing for this discussion, which is about, Pune's growth story and its evolving real estate landscape. And just before the panel, we were discussing outside that let's keep the panel free flowing and not make it a drag, so that I think before the tea starts, you all are not already sleepy. Yeah. I think my guests would agree to it. All right. So over the past decade, we believe that Pune was always considered as a educational hub or a retirement city and something like, for a relaxation point of view. However, it is now evolving, and we are seeing that the city is no longer acting as a supporting function or a supporting city for the urban growth narrative for India. So do you think, so this question is for all of you, I'll go one by one. So do you think that Pune is increasingly becoming a headline city now, or is it still carrying along the narrative what was earlier? Maybe we can start with you.
Thank you very much. Very honored to be here. So you're right. The reputation of Pune was that it is a retiree city, a quaint city where people come to retire with a very pleasant climate surrounded by mountains. But it has changed. The city's population is doubling, its GDP is doubling at an incredible rate. And that brings tremendous opportunity, but it also creates some headaches for planners. The predominant one, from my point of view, is the transportation, because already there are estimates that there are 5 million registered vehicles are there in Pune, which generate 4 to 5 million individual trips every day on the road. And on a long-term basis, that's not going to be sustainable. Very unsurprisingly, some surveys said that Pune Road is the second slowest in India and seventh slowest in the world. I don't know whether we can believe that, but it is quite slow, I can promise you that one. So, in response to this massive challenge, I think the administration, the government, has created a pipeline of projects, including road, but from my point of view, most importantly, metro rail project, about 100-kilometer or more. About 30-kilometer odd is already operational. Another 23-kilometer will get operational very soon, and the rest of it is in the pipeline. And these projects, from what I have seen in my work, are city shaping projects, which I'm happy to elaborate later on if time permits.
Yeah, yeah. So, Siddharth, what is your view? Is it moving out of its, narrative, or the cover that was there? Is Pune now getting into that mainstream, the headline city?
Good evening, everyone. I think that Pune has moved out of this long back. I think, you know, the retirement Pune that we know of was when we were kids. Uh, we've evolved significantly from that point of time. And this is one of the few cities in the country which is catered by more than one industry for its growth. So we talk about, education, and definitely that's part of it. But the IT industry is here in a big way. They're here to stay. uh, you know, Towards Pimpri Chinchwad, we have the manufacturing plants, which is again something that drives growth. Construction in itself, we've been the highest selling residential units across the country, I think now for 16 or 17 years on the go. So there are a lot of factors that have, uh, really driven this city up. So, and therefore, because it's been in the shadows of Mumbai so much, we still feel, oh, is it a retirement city, education city? But I think we've moved past that maybe last decade or
So you're saying
15
it's
years
already
ago.
out of the shadow of
Yeah,
Mumbai.
it's getting out of the shadow of
Okay.
Mumbai. Getting out of the shadow of Mumbai is a really tough thing to do. Let's be honest. Over here, it's the financial capital of the country and one of the strongest cities in the world. So, uh, yeah, like Sir said, we have our own challenges. Uh,
So it's building its own persona, you mean to say?
Absolutely, because one thing that sets Pune apart from, say, Mumbai is the how culturally and heritage rich city this has been. So there is so much pride in a person when he says, I'm a Punekar. That
Hmm.
is something you don't see in many cities. This thing, it's a passing statement. I'm from so and so city. Here, there is
Absolutely.
a lot of pride that a person takes.
Sure.
So I think that's what makes it really interesting.
Yeah. What are your views on this?
Uh, Shweta, I think we should even stop discussing and debating on this question.
Okay, you want me
Uh,
to put another
so,
question?
no, I say this because of a reason. See, I see Pune as a very rare city uh, where, industries, infrastructure, and talent,
Yeah,
all three are available. So, we undermine the capabilities of Pune, and we are not growing by any chance or just by luck or something. There is a lot of thing which is driving this growth. So there are more than 700 colleges in Pune, and talent is the biggest oil today. Lot of companies before planning which city to enter, they see where they will get the right talent pool.
agree. Yeah.
So Pune, and along with talent, Pune is growing industry. We are not depending only on IT. We have lot of automotive industries, EVs, and lot more than 4,000 manufacturing companies are there in Pune. So industry is growing, infra push is there, be it ring road, Purandar airport, industrial corridor connectivity, lot of things are there. So we are out of it. We are one of the leading global cities, not even leading Indian cities. I think Pune is well out of it.
All right. So Pune is well out of it. So Mayank, let me just, tweak the question now because Nitin just mentioned that this is not a question that we should be talking more about. So as Nitin was mentioning that it has multiple, the growth factors, including the availability of talent and the education and all. So do you think that the overall dynamics of Pune, considering the real estate, maybe the residential part or the commercial part, so do you think it is a complete multi-dimensional thing which is taking shape in Pune?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to support the argument, look at the data that is speaking so boldly about Pune. 8.5% GDP, growing better than India, 360 global capability centers. Okay, that tells about the logistics and the hub that Pune has developed. IT and manufacturing have been always been here. So the entire Pune can speak bold about the expansion of whether it is Hinjewadi or also maybe in some of the areas we are now becoming neck to neck with Bangalore in terms of startups. What has happened in metros and urban mobility is another level because we have the manufacturing center here, the EVs, the metros, the multimodal mobility, all is coming up. And skills and development, educational institutions. You talk about the higher education, 800 institutions, all operating in Pune. Now, with all of this, the one factor that we always miss out is it really exporting? It is. It is the third largest software exporter in India. So for me, Pune has almost become the Mumbai of Maharashtra.
Okay, Mumbai of Maharashtra. All right. So, moving to you, Mahesh, do you think that, because as the panel already mentioned, that the growth is being driven simultaneously by multiple sectors like technology or manufacturing, like he mentioned about the GCCs and the availability of talent, educational, having everything together in one city, and that also there is not a stark difference between the availability or between the no strength of all the four sectors. Do you think that this growth is going to continue, or how do you think Pune will be able to leverage the dynamics of having all these sectors present here?
Right. Good evening, everyone. Uh, Very interestingly, when I was preparing my answer for this question, what Siddharth mentioned, and he covered a lot of points. We are forgetting that we are also blessed with the whole. We are called the city of opportunities right now. We have, like he mentioned, the talent, but we are also getting avenues. I'll just give a fresh example. We started a store, international brand store yesterday in Pune. The fact that IKEA comes to Pune is also talks about the kind of market it expects in the city. And then you look at all the top brands of the Western world coming to India because they know now people are not going to move to West to buy them. They'll have to come to Pune to be able to cater to the growing demand. This also talks about the pocket size in terms of reality. It talks about where we are leading to. Last year at the Reality Plus show in Pune itself, I remember numbers were presented and they said for the next 10 years, the highest number of housing stock that is going to be sold in India is going to be from Pune again. So the envisaged growth is already there. People already know why they are coming here. And it's not just for the quality of life or living that is it gives you. Like I mentioned, it is for the number of opportunities it gives you. People are moving into smaller sectors, SMEs, which are helping them uh, 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 cater to the demand of the growing the middle income group, that is the larger market that is able to afford all these services. So I think if you are talking about how do you see it going in the next 10 years, maybe we are already on track towards our growth. Sir mentioned about Metro's 100-kilometer project already on its way. By 2030, they have envisaged a milestone. By 2035, they have envisaged a milestone. Siddharth mentioned about the housing stock as well, and was 16 years in a row we have had Realty as the topmost uh, selling product in the country. So if you look at it from education point of view, I come from the education background also. I think we've 800 higher education institute is just by number we are talking about, but by numbers of students studying at a time, we are the highest in the country in one city. So we don't classify ourselves as growing metro. We are already beyond the metro status already now. And for a student in the north or in the east to come to Pune and study is like already qualified to study at the IITs and the NITs. They think it's such a privilege to be accepted in a college or institute in Pune. That is because it's a land of opportunities, and we are going to grow with this.
Absolutely, totally agree to that. So now let me, get a little deeper into the conversation and to start with you, Siddharth. So when we talk about the growth trajectory of Pune, so what do you think are the policies or plannings which could be the bigger bets ahead, or what is something that you are looking at as a support in terms of policy that would help Pune to reach the level wherein what is expected out of it?
So if you see what's happened in the last few months, there's been significant amount of infrastructure projects that have been announced by the government. Our chief minister himself said that there's around 50,000 crores of projects. I think 5-6 days ago, the PMRDA CEO, Mr. Masse, said that there are 204 infrastructure projects that are currently undergo, uh, underway in the city, and the value of that is around 43,000 crores. So if you just add these two up, it's almost 100,000 crores that we're talking about, which is a huge amount. If you ask me, more than focus on more policies, if you just execute this and you get this out of the way as soon as possible, that itself is something that the city can be really proud of, because this is a big number in itself. Generally, what's happening is that development is happening first and infrastructure is following later. And because of that, we're not able to get wider roads that the city deserves. The basic infrastructure that we require is lagging a bit. But if we are able to execute these kind of numbers quickly, before plans are approved in certain areas of the city which are still not developed, I think we'll be one of the best planned cities that the world will see, and we'll be one of the youngest planned cities that the world can see.
So when you're talking about the planned cities and the infrastructure requirement that is, expected, so I would move to Sanjay and I would want to ask you, because when it is about infrastructure, let me get some details from you. So and you also mentioned that the roads, the most busiest roads, you're saying it's in Pune, and about the metro construction and the infrastructure. So, what, according to you, could be Pune's next big bet in infrastructure? If it is going on, if it is expected, maybe that should come. What are your viewpoints on that?
First of all, I fully support that the projects which are there in the pipeline needs to be completed quickly and on
Okay.
time and within the budget. So that goes without saying. But what I think, what I would like to see, given that Pune as a city has this great momentum going forward, is a concept called corridor densification.
All right.
And what happens, I mean, especially if you look at a metro, when a metro line is built, which is a long term investment for any city, most likely the most expensive investment that the city will ever make. In order to make best use of that investment, what the city needs to do is to move towards densification of the corridor. and develop the station areas for mixed use so that the cities become more and more livable. And this generates value for everybody, it generates value for investors, and it generates value for the city in the long term basis. I would also introduce another term. I'm sorry, this is not a management jargon. It's called agglomeration effect. And a lot of economists have studied this. This corridor densification creates agglomeration effect, which can generate benefits up to 20-30% of the total investment in a metro in terms of productivity alone. So I think this is what needs to happen next once the city and the government has committed to such a vast investment into metro rail. Very quickly, the second thing that I would like to see are better connectivity between Pune and its hinterland. And this is a lesson that I learned when we were trying to recruit people from within Pune. And it became very apparent very quickly that's a very interesting labor market where there are so many competing forces that unless you go deeper into the hinterland, you're never able to fill up the vacancies that you have. And for people living in the hinterland to have access to this fantastic job market, you need better connectivity. So maybe better regional rail, better road connectivity, faster so that people can live slightly away from Pune and still find work and employment opportunities within the city.
Agree. So interconnectivity is a challenge which you mean that should be solved for Pune. All right. So moving to Nitin, what do you think would be the most critical factors that will drive Pune's growth ahead in the next 5 or 10 years?
Uh, See, next decade of growth will come from the infrastructure boost which Pune is seeing.
All right. Yeah.
Uh, One, the ring road development, industrial corridor connectivity, upcoming Purandar Airport, development on Mumbai Pune Expressway, and even Mumbai 3.0 and the new international airport will make the city grow. And beside that, obviously, as I said in my earlier statement, uh, that see, for any city to grow, there are three things. One is industry. So we are not dependent on only on IT industry like Hyderabad or Bangalore. Predominantly, we are a manufacturing hub. Constantly GCC demand is growing. EVs are coming up in Pune. So beside IT, we are manufacturing hub and we are driven by multiple industries. Second, again I emphasize on infrastructure push. As everyone is saying, yes, delivery of those infrastructure, and I can see with this government the kind of initiative they are taking, and the metro expansion which is happening in the Pune, the connectivity is coming, so which will create new micro markets and constant drive the Pune's growth. And third and most important, which everyone forgets and misses on the real estate industry, is the talent pool. So the kind of supply of talent pool we have in Pune city will always drive growth, because this talent pool will get absorbed and they will always be required to support this kind of industry growth. Plus, it will create a lot of employment and end user demand in the Pune city itself. So this will drive the next 10 years of growth in Pune.
Great. So infrastructure, the benefit out of Mumbai 3.0 and the talent pool is something you mean to say would drive the growth in the coming years. Sure. All right. So moving to Mayank now, and Mayank, in your previous response, you just mentioned about the GCCs and the upcoming the tech and everything. So I would want to understand what policy reforms in land use or financing or governance which could help setting up these infrastructure or setting up these institutions would help in the development or growth of Pune.
I was waiting for this. So, just to study the Pune market, Pune from a center at the core is growing vertically, and we all agree to this. And on a peripherals, it is growing more horizontal. So, in typical language, I call it as go deep, go wide. Whatever good part you have seen in the last 25 years is a result of an integrated planning. And this is where the policymakers, the industry experts, they came together. And since I have the benefit of having being on the automotive side and now in the service industry connected to real estate, I see it very, very closely because there are forums who have done this successfully, whether it is the ECMA or the SIAM, here it is the CREDAI and realty forums like these, who have really taken the next step of integrated township planning. And that has really helped. For example, the metro corridor. Now, the moment it connects a Hinjawadi to a Wagholi area, you will have a different phase of life. How many of us would really want to have 2 hours spent in just a car to drive from Chakan to the center of Pune? Nobody.
I was just thinking that this was only the case with Mumbai. I mean, 2 hours for 10 kilometers, and I am amazed to see that it is the same case here.
Same case in Pune, and this is something which is thought for the future. And when you set the vision, when you set the policy, when you say the good growth factors, are we taking a sustainable mindset? My question to all of us is: before we plan, say A or a B or a C part of the industry, is it integrated and aligned with the rest of the factors? Because that's where the government, the policymakers, the industry can come forward and do a bit more of an inclusive, sustainable development for the city. So more involvement of us and more involvement of the government people into a policy making will help. And these are the forums where we can put our voice through. So
Yeah, sure. So moving ahead, Mahesh, we have been discussing and comparing Pune to a Mumbai or a Bangalore or Hyderabad in terms of technology, talent, or the expanse of the city, or maybe traffic also. While Sanjay didn't mention that, but otherwise Bangalore is always on the headlines of the traffic woes. So how, according to you, can Pune position itself to compete with global cities, and also Indian cities which are like global cities like a Bangalore or a Mumbai or a Hyderabad for talent, technology and investment?
Right. I think it will be a sum up of several responses, but I look at Pune as it's not a division of city core or a outside city now, because if we look at the fringe areas also, most of the high performing facilities, right from factories to IT offices, are on the fringe of Pune right now. They've sort of decided to uh, decentralize their rule over the market. But when Mayank mentioned about grow deep and grow wide philosophy, I think look at all of this. Look at educational institute campuses are set up outside the city right now. They are providing residential facilities. You look at factories; they are moving. They're not now moving towards Sakan, but away from Sakan towards other areas, so that they can get larger land parcels and better facilities. When we look at metro connectivity, we are also looking at going to the fringe areas and not looking at only connecting the city core centers. Uh, when you look at reality, you are also looking at so much of housing stock that is lying vacant inside the city, but so much of it is already sold out towards the fringe area. That is because the connectivity to other metro cities is great. But when I position Pune as a growing metro or a metro already, I'm trying to realign its urban infrastructure. I would rather want to create a white paper out of this discussion and give it to the officials and tell them that we have so much potential, so many core potential areas in city which could be realigned or reinvested into, such that uh, we maximize the land value, we maximize the user group. We have 20.7% youth right now in Pune, and if that is to be capitalized with the youth, I'm not even talking about the working class. I'm talking about the people who are going to get into the industry in 10 years' time. Then I think it's very important to have a policy document that will sort of realign our urban infrastructure. This is where this forum will become more important, and this voice has to be taken forward to the officials. Lastly, just quick update on if you are looking at potential investors who are developing lands in the city core area. I think Pune is the biggest redevelopment market we have currently, not just from the residential point of view, but commercial infrastructure as well, institutional infrastructure as well. And lastly, it all of this is adding up to creating a better lifestyle. That is the ultimate motive of giving people the luxury, the sort of good health, the good environment, good views, good vistas. So we are on our way towards becoming what Hyderabad couldn't become, maybe because of the creating of twin towns and satellite towns. We did create our satellite town years ago, so we had already sort of migrated to PCMC, and now we are coming back towards the city and trying to create. So we are already moving away from that typical skeleton or framework, but I'm sure we will grow better than these other so-called competing cities grew in the last 10 years.
So, like you mentioned about, the infrastructure and all of that, the luxury, the city planning, everything, it finally ends up to the, betterment of lifestyle. That's a very critical point, right? Continuing with that point, Nitin, I would want to ask you, while you mentioned about the talent and the educational hubs and all of that. So, do you think Pune is a combination of knowledge economy plus a industrial base? And B, while we talk about the talent pool availability here, do you also see migration happening into Pune for work?
See, I'll answer the second question first. The
Sure.
migration happening into Pune for work. So migration is happening before that. People are migrating from various part of the country, from various part of the world to Pune for education, and they are liking the city so much that they want to stay back. I am one of the example.
All right. No, that's nice.
So talent pool is available in Pune, and Pune has the capability of absorbing and creating a deeper resource pool for Pune itself. And then from Pune, people are taking education and migrating to various other cities of the world and India. So, besides that, yes, the growth, and as I said earlier also, growth is not only depending. Pune was earlier known as manufacturing hub. Now it's no more only a manufacturing hub. It is a IT hub. It is a lot of new industries. GCC expansion is happening in Pune, and it is well supported by the infrastructure development and connectivities across the Pune. And another subdued point why people like Pune, because if you see and look at Mumbai, everything is out of your reach. Pune, you get everything within your reach. Still, people talk about little bit of traffic. Uh, I think Pune is still better place compared to Mumbai and Bangalore. You are traveling from Chakan to Viman Nagar still in 1.5 hours, but in if you will have to travel from say Andheri from Virar MIDC or something, it will take more than 3.5 hours. Or from Panvel to uh, maybe western part of suburbs in Mumbai, it will take even 4 hours, and traffic congestion is huge. So Pune is coping up with this thing. However, having said that, yes, we need better urban planning. We need better roads and bridges and lot of other things for traffic congestions. We need water management. That is one of the big reasons and one infrastructure push which Pune requires now.
Understood. So again, everything comes down to infrastructure. So maybe I can just, go to Sanjay and ask, like, when you already mentioned about, the interconnectivity, the regional integration. So do you think some projects like high speed rail or hyperloop between Mumbai and Pune or something else could create a lot of value, or, it could create a single labor market for both the cities, Mumbai and Pune?
Yes, certainly. I think projects should be built where they are economically viable and feasible. And also, they are constructible. So we should not pick up a project just for the sake of building a project. But I think, we have an impressive pipeline of projects. What I feel the next challenge is looking beyond what happens after these assets have been created. And I think you mentioned about water. It's not just water. The next challenge is the management of assets that we have created, and billions of rupees are locked up in these assets. The skill sets required for lifelong management of these assets is different to the one which is required to build those assets in the first place. So we need to access and develop different skill sets and expertise of people who will manage these assets for a very long period of time
Indeed.
in a very sustainable manner, whether they are road or rail or water or electricity or garbage collection or whatever else is part of the livability, index of the city. So I suspect we should look ahead and we should be able to forecast on where these next challenges are and respond accordingly.
So, do you think the talent development has to happen specific to a Pune area or something?
Well, this problem is not generic to Pune. You can just take my arguments and apply it on Frankfurt
Yeah.
or Toronto. It's the same problem that any city region feels, because project is a very specific bundle of activities where you can gather a number of specialists for a short period of time. They'll do their work and go away, but the asset remains in place. So what happens to that asset, and how do we position ourselves to cater and keep that asset in a state of good repair for a very long period of time is a challenge for every region city in the world.
Yeah, so I think Realty Plus Tripti Sapna, you have some really good points for taking it to the policymakers now. All right. So moving to Siddharth, we were just discussing about the quality of life, and you also mentioned that the culture in Pune is diverse, and it is a very good and comfortable place to be in. So do you think that Pune is offering that competitive advantage in terms of quality of life? Because when we talk about quality of life, but the challenges have already been mentioned by the panel about the infrastructure or the connectivity or the roads, water management, everything. So do you think it is an advantage of that quality of life quotient for Pune?
Yeah, so there are ways to look at this, and I'll give you two examples to kind of support my argument
Sure.
uh, on this. One is the quality in life in terms of how we attract talent into the city. So if you see talent that's coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities into Pune, they prefer to stay here rather than going to places like Mumbai, Delhi, purely because here it's a little more comforting. It doesn't feel as much as a dog eat dog world, even though that's not necessarily true. But there's a sense of calmness over here. There's a sense of association over here, and you feel that you're in your comfort zone, and therefore people like to stay back. So many times when we ask ourselves this question, who is buying these apartments? How is it that consistently we're on the top buying these apartments? The answer comes because of this. The second reason why this happens is the cost of living. Uh, and I'll give you a little dated example, but it's a very nice example to give you. My uh, first child was born 11 years ago. My wife is from Mumbai, so he was born over there. She had a normal delivery, touch wood, and we paid around 2 lakhs for that delivery. Then my second son was born in Pune a year later, and he was born in Jahangir, which is one of the best hospitals around. And for the exact same delivery, same room, everything, we paid 65,000.
Oh,
Okay.
so you're talking about
So-
the affordability.
Yeah. So when it comes to why I took this example specifically, I could have spoken about food also, but healthcare is a very critical thing, and it's a huge impact at one time. So yes, eating outside also Pune is cheaper. We can keep, getting on those points, but uh, these are critical items where it hits one's pocket significantly. And when you see that we have doctors which are at par with other cities, we're not getting substandard doctors over here. They're all presidents of some international organizations, well affiliated doctors. All of these guys are available here. So when you see the cost difference just like that, it's a very welcoming city. It's also one of the reasons when we had the pandemic, people from the southern part of the state, because after Pune there's no real metro to go to, they all came to Pune for treatment. Not many, only the very affluent ones went to Mumbai for treatment. It's because of what we provide over here. So this is something that very few cities are able to provide at this point of time, and That is the value that we are putting on the table.
So affordability in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of eating, lifestyle. So does that also follow the affordability factor? Does it follow the affordable housing thing also?
So Pune's average selling price even today is less than 10,000 rupees. So if means that to me is very reasonable. Just 100 kilometers away, we're talking of prices that are 4x of what we are doing over here. And we have projects in Mumbai and in Pune. So I can tell you this that uh, like to have a revenue of roughly around 400 crores project in Pune, we'd be doing around 3.5 to 4 lakh square feet of construction over here. To have a 400 crore project in Mumbai, say in Santa Cruz kind of area, we'd be doing 90,000 square feet over there. So this just shows you how affordable the city uh, really is.
Agree. So moving to Mayank, Mayank, you already spoke about the infrastructure, about some numbers. So and you've been into multiple industries. You said from auto to this side of it. So let me just ask you something. Do you think that there are some retail indicators or numbers that, like he mentioned about the affordability of healthcare and affordability of housing and all? So, do you think that there is this something that reflects in the retail side of it also? Because we've seen that there are some reports, and Anarock did a research also, and wherein we found that mainstream retail rentals increased approximately 10 to 12% YOY in Pune, and there's also grade A mall vacancy stands at almost like 6.34%, indicating strong consumer demand. And you were also mentioning about, some brands coming into Pune, people coming and buying from Pune. So what is your outlook on this?
So Pune could be a great example of getting the best aspiration at the best affordability. And
Yeah.
this holds true for a personal buyer like you and me, a commercial area as well as a residential and a retail also included. Talking specifically on residential, commercial, you would see the trend, and I completely agree with Siddharth what he was mentioning about the affordability index on the lower segment has also gone slightly higher, so prices have gone higher. But people are wanting maximum worth of the investment they are putting in the premium segment.
Yeah.
They are ready to invest, they are ready to pay more price, they are ready to pay more premium. Everybody wants the best of the living. So how is it all connected to the retail is because how we lead our life decides what retail we choose. Why do you see the trends or the IKEAs, the example that you made? Why are they coming to Pune? Exactly because Pune is the next metro, perhaps, and that is why I said when Pune becomes the metro for India, nobody compares Pune and Bombay all the more. In all our conversation, we just keep comparing Pune and Mumbai. Why? The point is that Pune has everything for a best living, and all the indicators are supporting. Maybe the requirement is just to have the right timing, because
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
we have the great supply of real estate, the retail, etc., but is the demand matching? And you take the reports and you see that our replacement demand is slightly over the curve, and it will create more inventory, and then we'll all have a separate issue and challenge to face. So let's be very cautious. I would say cautiously optimistic is a great plan for the next 2 to 3 years for Pune, and then we can build upon it later.
Sure. So cautiously optimistic is the word for today. All right. So before we end the panel, let me have one word or one sentence from each of you, starting from Mahesh. What is that one thing that you feel is quite unique to Pune, and that is something which will drive its growth going ahead?
And mentioned at the start, opportunities in every field. I think the kind of growth markers that the city has right now, it is compared to none other. It is second best to none. It's the best right now in the country, and the opportunities are going to sort of create this. When I say opportunities, I'm not talking about a field. I'm talking about all the fields together. Be it sports, we all know about the Pune Grand Tour happening in the city. They decided to choose Pune because they understood the cost was easier, lesser. They didn't go to Mumbai. Two, it was easy to create the infrastructure than to rearrange some other infrastructure. And three, this whole willingness to grow, this potential, this want to. this aspiration to grow at an affordable cost, I think all of this aligns together for Pune.
So it's opportunities. Mayank, for you, what's that unique thing for Pune?
You said one word, I'll use 4 words.
Sure.
Sustainable living with happiness index.
Sustainable living with happiness index. Quite innovative.
See, we've recently finished a World Cup. So I see uh, Pune is like the Shivam Dubey of Team India.
All right.
So we have the potential to score that critical 24 runs in 8 balls. You know, and with lot of talent, right infrastructure, right industry growth is one of the rarest combination to have all three present at great thing to be in the Pune. And with that, we can, if we manage it well with right urban planning, water management, traffic congestions, and over and above, we have a great climate. So I think we can become one of the top global cities of the world and one of the best cities to live in, at least in Asia.
Oh, awesome.
So I'll tell you what we need. It may not necessarily be the
Present as of
USP
now. Yeah.
as of
USP,
now,
yeah.
but it's just clean water, clean air, and good food.
Don't you think that's
So-
that's quite valid for every city?
It is, but it's not something that every city is getting. Okay, we've all seen the news during winters about pollution
Yeah.
from north to south of India. There are definitely ways that it can be tackled. China has shown us the way time and time again, and there's no harm from learning from a competitor. Uh, this I think, so it's been done. Clean water is a basic necessity. I think actually we take these things for granted because many of us, the places we stay, we don't face water cuts or we don't
Yeah.
face contaminated water, but that's not true for the en mass of the city. So that is something that I think if we are able to get it to the lowest levels, that's a huge achievement. And clean, good food is something. I mean, we've seen so many examples of this. All of us are on social media. We've seen time and time again people complaining of quality of food. I think if we can just get these three right, it just contributes to what he said about healthy lifestyle as well as the happiness index.
Sure. Yeah. So last words from Sanjay.
Thank you very much. From the last panel, we learned that most of the people who are buying property here are buying it for their own use, which means a lot of people are committing their life to this city. And that's a great prospect for the city. And the city should reciprocate and commit to these people in return so that they can have a good quality of life for a long time.
Well, that was a closing line. I think before I could close, Sanjay has already closed that. The city should reciprocate in the similar intensity of goodness to its people. But then I believe all of that is lands on your hands. How you plan the policies, what is the infrastructure take that you are taking. Well, if we have a couple of minutes, if you want to take some questions, the panel is here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That since we have some minutes, so we can take about 2 questions. So if anybody is willing to ask questions, please kindly raise your hands. We'll have somebody from the team to pass on the mic. Can you please pass on the mic to him over here? Please kindly introduce yourself and direct the question whom you're asking.
Yeah,
to.
I'm retired colonel. I'm Colonel Kulbir Singh, and I'm member of PROP. See, I heard this panel, but this panel, when speaking about policy planning and big bets, did not speak about water supply, electricity supply, which is part of any city's growth. And today, Pune is in clutches of water mafia, and we are in shambles as regards to electricity. Thank you.
Who among you wants to take it? Anyone can volunteer.
Sir, I did speak about water supply. I did end with clean water, clean air, and clean food. Mafia is everywhere. Why are we only talking about water? Let's start with steel and cement also then. I mean, so my take on this is there are only two things we can do. We can complain or do something about it. And it is our responsibility to do something about it. So I would prefer to, take that path most of the time. And that's as philosophical as I'll get on this. But yes, it doesn't take away from the fact that water is the problem. Everyone is trying their best, but with the way policies are running, the way systems are running, uh, all of us were so confident because of the Bhama Akshet project that the government had put up. Again, it's been delayed for some reason or the other. The contract has been asked to leave. A new person is coming in. Eventually, the brunt of all of this is not just cost to the agency is executing. The major cost of this is to the end user who is expecting that supply to come to his house. So yeah, these are things that we need to tackle very aggressively, and we can't keep playing a game of L1 all the time. We have to get the best guy suited for that job to do that job.
I think well-crafted question, equally well-crafted answer. Thank you so much. You all can clap a little louder for that answer, I believe, right? Huh?
Thank you.
In the meantime, I'll request the hotel staff to be ready for the next session for the chairs. One more question we can take for this session. Anybody wants to raise? We have a hand raise over here. Brother, if you could please kindly pass the mic to him over there at the back.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Lovely panel. Just a quick question. We're trying to make Pune as a global city, as Nitin sir said. What are the essential features a city should have for it to become global? Not just investment and infrastructure. What else? It's for the panel. What should Pune do to make it global besides infrastructure and investment? Thank you.
You want anyone specific to answer?
It's open for the panel, sir.
Anyone amongst you? Unfortunately, we don't have time to accommodate everyone's point of view.
I just want to add 2 words to that. I think respect for people, that every city, for its own inhabitants, the respect has to be there. And most importantly, connecting all parts of the city, be it fringe and everything, giving that sort of, if I may add, the lung space that the city needs. Right now, we can't just be building and building. The grays can reduce and the greens can increase maybe. So if we are able to achieve that green and gray balance, we are giving that lifestyle that our people are really wanting to. But respecting everybody is very, very important. I think every inhabitant.
Thank you so much for the question. Thank you so much for that point of view. Can we have a big round of applause for this panel, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much, ma'am, for moderating it so well.